G'day,
Hello there.
I'm Aussie Robbo,
I'm English Jen.
and welcome back to another episode. It is the last week of February, and I'm still working away while some people are living the leisurely life.
The furloughed life. So I'm finding projects to do when I'm not sleeping in. So please
day.
join us and you'll see what I'm doing this week when this one's working. Another week, another set of projects, and first off, the main thing this week is going to be me doing these lovely pin displays for my Disney pins. We haven't got as many as lots of people have got, but I thought you'd be interested to see how I make my new version of a Disney pin board. And what else?
You want a haircut, do you?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit fed up of being a bit kind of unkept. No, don't show the bald spot. So I'm getting a bit fed up with having long hair and around the sides especially. So this one has agreed to cut my hair, and I'm also thinking I'm going to dye it darker again, maybe, possibly.
Crazy.
So yeah, if you want to see how that turns out, stay to the end of the video. Thanks. So Rob's working. I'm furloughed for the week. I'm not back in until next week now, and it's last week of February, so we're still in lockdown. So it's time to do some little hobby jobs that I've been waiting for a while. So we've got a relatively small collection of pins, but we've decided to do this as our first ever pin board, but do it in a frame with glass. Just a few simple ones in this one. So we've got the Minnie Mouse main attraction, the Mickey Mouse from the previous year before the Minnie Mouse, just some of my favourites. I didn't go through all of them. Then we've got our Pride. Yeah, all the Pride pins, a couple of collections from the last couple of years, including that limited one from last year. And then from our first visit in 2017, which was after the 45th anniversary, there was still some pins in knockdown prices, so I've got some of those. And then our first visit pin, collection of Up. And then one of my little favourites, it was gifted, was the Orange Bird, Disneyland Paris, the Dapper Dans with the original crew. It's a nice little collection, and like I say, it's behind glass, but it does mean that it makes it, if any of them fall off, I have to then tear the back off. But yeah, hopefully these will now stay on after a couple of fixings. But I'll show you how to do a couple of others that I'm going to be doing. So I've got smaller versions of this. So I went near where we live in London. There's a range. So we've got a pack of 4 cork pin boards, and it's quite thick. So it means you won't have any trouble keeping the pins in, and they won't be poking out the back. I think that was around £10. Maybe a bit less. And then the range also has these kind of pre-mounted picture frames, so same as the large one, but really good prices and really decent sizes as well. So this one's £5.59, which is probably the same as 2 bits. It says A4 for the frame, so just probably double A4 if you took out the mount. And then another one, which is considerably bigger. This is where Amazon came in really handy, is a roll of sticky back velvet. This was about just over £20 next day delivery on Prime, and it's about 2 meters worth of the sort of sticky back velvet, which works really nicely, looks really good, goes on really easily, especially on the cork, and you can get out the air bubbles, etc. So we'll be using those. So the pins in question, we've got a bunch of pins still left, like Star Wars ones, but the ones I really want to get framed are a couple that we've had since later last year for Disneyland California's 65th anniversary. We've got this theme park map, and this is so big it actually comes, it's got a stand on the back of it as well, so you can have it freestanding, but I'd rather have it against like a black velvet. But it's got some really beautiful details in there. So all the iconic rides and the castle itself. Really nice packaging as well. I really like the graphic on the packaging. And then to go with that, we've also got a Disneyland sign with the whole gang there, including our favourites Donald and Chip and Dale. Again, extra large pin, but I just really love the retro styling of it. I'll obviously be keeping the boxes, but I want to put those on display. So they'll have one of the smaller frames. Other ones that I do want to get framed is the Caballeros. That's their 75th anniversary. It was recent, so I got that last year. Again, I really love these like giant pins because they just have so much space to put graphics on them. That's a very gold finish. Really beautiful graphics. And then this is my first ever Loungefly one, because Loungefly started doing jumbo pins as well. And it's the 80th anniversary of Fantasia. And I got that from Funko Europe. They're doing them on a weekly basis at the moment. So it's supposed to have moving parts, but to me they don't really move enough to sort of consider them moving parts. They literally jiggle around a bit. But yeah, really beautiful. Nice graphics again on there with all the original sort of sketch style of the animations. So yeah, so here we are. We're on the floor in the lounge. Rob's working away very hard. So what I normally do, or what we normally do, is have pins stored in either pin bags that we've bought from the parks, or indeed things like things we've had tinned biscuits from the parks. This one's from Disneyland Paris, and just keeps them safe. As you can see, it's empty because they're all out here. So we're not going to be concentrating on Galaxy's Edge pins today. We're going to go back to where we began our pin collecting, which was Star Wars Celebration. So we've got the emoji style from 2016 Star Wars Celebration that we collected a lot of. We sold quite a few of them as well. This was actually from our first ever time in Hollywood Studios or a Disney park. So that's quite nice. We have actually had the date, April 14th, 2017 for Galactic Nights. And we've got a lanyard with lots of pins on there, but I'll show them in more detail later. So let's get started. So for the moment, we don't need the cork, so we'll put that aside. We hopefully won't have to cut too much of that down because it's quite a bugger to trim. So first of all, I'm going to get the backs off these, take out the black mounted inlay box frame artwork, and then we'll get started. Next, to work out how many of these cork boards we need. So as you can see, they're squared, so we're going to need like 1.5 maybe. We're not filling the whole frame this time like I did with my last large one that we showed earlier in the episode. So yeah, I'm just going to need to trim down a bit to go here. Yeah, and then we'll be covering that with the velvet and then sticking it directly onto the backboard. So next, just going to do a rough ruler line of where we need to cut the cork off. None of this is going to be showing because it's all going to be covered with the velvet. Cork can fly everywhere, so make sure you've got something either down or in a place where you don't mind bits of cork going everywhere. It's not too bad this time around. It wasn't a huge amount to cut. So next it will be sticking these babies centrally down the backboard, so then we can then cover from the front with the velvet. Now it's time to put the velvet fabric sticky back plastic type thing on the back. So you've just got 2 meters of this. As you can see, it overhangs where we need it, so we'll just trim a bit of it off, but you don't need to be too precise because it's going to be all hidden away behind the mount board and the frame anyway. So just a rough estimate of the length, and we're good to go. at the back with the staples, because obviously it doesn't have the prongs on this one now because it's pushed too far to the back. So next is to use this stuff, which is basically for sealing in backings on pictures, paintings, etc. It's not super sticky, but once it's down, it really works a treat. While doing this to pass the time. So first of all, we've got our pins. There you go. So this one's got a stand so you can display it actually on a flat surface. Very beautiful. And just stick them into the cork. And you're good to go, and that'll be ready for putting onto the actual frame with glass.
So, cut to a week later, and your hair's cut.
Rather nice.
A lot shorter.
Don't look at the back, but yeah, rather nice.
Took about a good half hour to...
Hour. No, he did a really good job. It's amazing what you can do with some sheep shearers and a bit of time in the evening. No, he did a really good job, and I feel much better for having it. I felt rough this week, so this has made me feel a little bit better in myself. So thank you.
It's quite a right.
I bought him dinner. So as you may have just seen, if you've stuck with us to the end of the video, is how we're deciding to do our pin displays for when we get a place that's got enough rooms to put pins up on the walls. Might put these up in our hallway if we can work it out, but we'll see. We can't use nails, etc. So,
no.
But yeah, so the first one we finished was the Disneyland 65th anniversary. These are two pins I desperately wanted last year, and I managed to get them off to eBay sellers. Rather good price, and considering how much they were going for. So I'm really pleased with those, and they're nice and shiny and big. Like shown in the making of, it's glass, not going to be suited to everybody, but you can remove glass, just dispose of it properly, and you still have a nice frame. But I just wanted to keep glass in so I don't have to dust it so often. The other one we have is, so originally I was going to put lots of different Star Wars ones, but then I was like, oh, we've got enough of the Star Wars Celebration convention exclusive. So the first lot we've got is the 2016 emoji collection.
That was a much more enjoyable experience when we were collecting them, I guess you could say. It was the weekend of Star Wars Celebration, and we were buying the packs, and we'd never really done the whole pin thing before, and we were trading with people. It was a really good experience. There was a lot of trading going on, so it was quite easy to get the pins that you wanted. And then the second set, which are just above, while I actually personally prefer these in terms of the way they look, it was a lot more difficult experience trying to get a hold or trade with people when we were in Florida. It just wasn't as an enjoyable experience.
It was bloodthirsty. Yeah, when we went to Orlando's celebration the following year in 2017, yeah, the crowds were very much more intense, weren't they? And a bit sort of cutthroat. So as much as we like these pins, we weren't that well. We didn't actually get the whole series, did we? In the end,
no. It was a lot harder to get the whole series just because it was harder to trade, and it just wasn't as good as experience as the other one was.
But we quite like the artist. The artist is Derek Laufman, and he's done quite a few different films and TV show kind of based ones. So look at his work up. But yeah, the pins are really beautiful, and actually both collections together are really nice. I really like that. But again, in the future I might do some without glass on them, and if we do, we'll show you how and when, etc. But yeah, so it's been quite a productive week. You've been working.
I have.
I've kept myself busy-ish. It's a new emos release next week, so I'm sure we'll have something to share with you then.
But until then, have a good week and bye for now.
Bye for now. Bye. Bye-bye. Right. So